Well, good evening, our beloveds. We are finally catching up with some of the stuff that has been in the pipeline. We know what our another has coming at her, but she does not. So sometimes we blast her with struggling moments, and she makes the best of it, but still shuts down. So here is our topic or our lesson for today, and it is very, very important for the collective, for those who have been raised like our another, and those who have made promises like our another, which is to be like Jesus. And in her instance, her particular approach, which comes from a variety of factors, so to find the source of it at this point is irrelevant because it need not be addressed. The main thing is that her mindset of Jesus is truly just to turn the other cheek and to avoid conflict and to behave in what in her mind would be deemed a loving fashion. And yet, that completely denies the other side of Jesus. And those who have read the Bible know what we are speaking of. So, Jesus was not always love and light. Jesus was love and light for those who were humble, and those who had gratitude, and those who were struggling, if that makes sense. But for those who were egoic and condescending and belittling and belligerent and just caustic, well, Jesus did not offer them a room in his house, if you know what we mean. He told them where their mission was not in alignment with his, and in a particularly strong-willed fashion. Jesus did get angry. Jesus did tell people off. Jesus did hold people accountable for their sins, as you Christians like to call them. But our Jesus, not the one of the Bible, is simply love, right? But when you love yourself, you do not entertain trolls. You do not allow them access to your energetic imprint because they are not worthy. Now, it doesn't mean that you reject them. You just don't invite them in until their vibrational imprint matches yours. So for those of you who were raised in the belief system that Jesus always turned the other cheek, it is not the interpretation that we ever intended. Protect your hearts, protect your energy, protect your lives, protect your children. You have all been taught so many lies that have been passed down from generation to generation. And then when you are asked finally to begin to love yourself, your standard is so skewed because you feel bad when you stand up for yourself. It is difficult and it drains your energy. This is the challenge that our another has been working through, honestly, for a lifetime. And she's finally making some progress. But today she just said, this just doesn't feel good. When people don't hear her, when they don't hear what she is saying, and instead just override, overrule, or ignore her voice. And we are now teaching her how to react or to respond to such interactions with others. And she is having to once again be detached, which means, okay, so if I had a friend come to me with this situation, how would I advise that my friend resolve it? And this is because she still does not see herself as deserving of being treated as well as she should. But she has enough insight to say, even though I can't feel it yet, I know that there is something off here. And she is stepping outside of her own skin to see what advice she would give a friend. So not all of you would even give a friend the right advice, which is to step back or to walk away from certain interactions because you too have been implanted with the belief system that you must always turn the other cheek. But this is programmed beliefs by the patriarchy, if you will, though it stems from a different source. We'll call it from the Corinthians. But it doesn't matter. It is a belief system that does not serve you because it allows others to harvest your energy at your expense. So begin to see what looks healthy and what doesn't. And the standard that our another uses, which has helped her the most, is if somebody treated my daughter this way, how would I react or respond? And what advice would I give my daughter? This is her greatest tool because she knows that she never wants her daughter to be treated as she was. And so there she does set a much higher standard. So for those of you who really believe that your mission is to be love, well, figure out what love really looks like. And if you use Jesus as the model, we'll look at the fullness of his behavior, of the stories of his journey here on planet Earth, and use that, the fullness of it, as a guide rather than just picking and choosing the pieces that force you to be kind and loving and accepting of everyone. You get to choose who is invited into your inner circle based on how they treat you. When you find the patterns and you express your dissatisfaction, if they're unwilling to change and it doesn't feel good, you are welcome to say, there is no room at the inn for you tonight, and feel good that you are choosing you for the first time, and really sit with that energetic imprint. It is important to choose you before anyone else, because that is where love begins, with the self. Because if you don't love the self, how can you truly love others? Because you can only offer others what you offer yourself first. Allow your cup to overflow before you give your energy away to others. That is our great lesson for today, for the grace, gratitude, and forgiveness lesson. This is what grace for self really looks like. Choose you, not from a selfish perspective, but from a self-loving, self-respecting, self-protective mechanism. And so it is. Namaste.